So in the early stages of the show, I really wanted to lay a foundation for some of the ground rules how I see, analyze, and rate movies, just so you guys can understand where I'm coming from, why I prefer some movies to others. I've created 7 basic categories for moviegoers. No one is safe. Everyone deserves to be roasted a bit, where most people fall in 1 or 2 categories. Their perception, their worldview of how they see film, how they enjoy it, because everyone relates to film differently. So coming in number 1, we have the average Joe. So this is probably where most people fall. To be quite honest, this is the person you ask when they've seen a movie. They're like, I haven't seen that. I just don't really get much time to watch movies, or they'll complain about how long movies are, and yet binge watch a Netflix show 10 hours a day. They don't really have much care for it. They're just kind of not very huge aspect in their life. Number 2 is possibly my least favorite, the Oscar award / IMDb snob. These are the sheep of the list and the most irritating kinds of filmgoers. They'll base a film's entire rating off of whether or not it got an Oscar, how much money the film made, just how popular it is in general. They can't think for themselves to save their life. They honestly just pulled up a IMDb top 250 and just picked out a few films from the top 30 and claimed as their own. It's just having conversation with these people is just beyond irritating. It's just, hey, what's your favorite movie? Oh, Shawshank Redemption, Good Will Hunting, and The Godfather. That's very original. Avatar. It's Bryce is definitely not this, but he is a snob for the classic golden era Hollywood films like Casablanca. Casablanca is not the greatest film ever. So that's an argument we'll get into later. Coming in at number 3 is another bad option, the artsy film snob. So this is your average film student or professor. They thrive here. They hate any kind of classic American film with any masculine characters, traditional kind of entertainment. They just love, for some reason, weird, quirky, disturbing, and overly emotional tales. They'll see one A24 film with an ambiguous ending and just say it's art, the best film ever. They feel uncomfortable with Rambo, a Rocky, any Sylvester Stallone kind of film, any war epic or anything like that, or anything fun for that matter. They just want to be depressed and sit in their room all day. So even 5-10 years ago, these gremlins would be treated like pariahs. Number 4, we have the omniscient one. Now, this is the person who is never satisfied. They're always hating and somehow think they know every move that the director should have made. They think they have an omniscient view, meaning they believe they have some sort of monopoly on film quality, on how they think it should go. Nothing is good enough for them ever. And these people are a drag to be around, go see movies with, because if they're sitting next to you and watching the film, they're just waiting. They're just constantly judging, analyzing, and they just can't wait till you get out of the theater. They base an entire movie and judge it on one single flaw and let that ruin the entire movie for them. So stay away from these people. The streamer. Now, this person isn't necessarily bad. They're too lazy and too new-aged to put in the effort to go buy a $5 ticket at a local cinema. They'd rather be eating veggie straws and watching Disney+. They'll always say, I just don't want to spend the money to go out and see when I can just watch it at home, without realizing that they're missing it. There's some movies that you have to see in theaters. You have to see Batman in theaters. You have to see monster movies in theaters. You have to see big-scale war movies in theaters. And it's just, that's how all these directors intended for the film to be seen. If you don't engage with that, you're missing out. And number 6, we have the corrupt. This person takes strange pleasure in watching horror films and raunchy comedies, but mainly horror. They will go to any end to explain why these films are art, or they're really well done, and you just don't understand them. I don't understand them. Let's face it, most horror films are trash from a technical standpoint and for your soul. Anyone who just willingly chooses to fill their head with crazy amounts of gore, there's something really wrong with them, and you just do not want to. You don't want to be around them. All right, so these kinds of people are digging at the bottom of blockbuster barrels for underground creepy, low-budget movies that, should not be watched, should not even be sold. These people have sold their soul. Number 7 is the final category, which is the enjoyer. I would say I fall in this category. It's essentially, these people are a film fan rather than a film critic. These moviegoers rate film specifically on, how much they enjoyed it. Prime example, I know that Pacific Rim isn't technically as good as Gone with the Wind, but I still enjoy it 1,000% more. I've never seen Gone with the Wind, but I know. I remember seeing Pacific Rim in Cinemark Legacy XD with my brother, and it was just pure awesomeness. It's cheesy, it's got crazy action, great CGI, but there's some kind of attachment there. So I think movies that you have some kind of attachment to, that also plays a factor in it. You have some kind of memory of it or inside joke about what happened during the time when you were seeing it. Movies are entertainment when you come down to it. They're for us to enjoy, and what better way to rate them in that very category. Many will come after me for my views on films. It's your constitutional right to. It's your constitutional right to have a trash opinion and for me to roast it. You can roast my opinions if you want. It's a free country. That's what's great about this. What's great about this platform. Where do you fall in the spectrum of moviegoer categories?